Do you find yourself constantly worrying about what others think of you? In this video, we delve into the philosophy of Stoicism to learn how to stop worrying about others' opinions and find inner peace. Lesson 1. Know what you can manage. Making the line between what we can and cannot control is one of the core tenets of Stoicism. When it comes to thinking about what other people think, this is quite important. There are many things in life that we have no control over, things that we can influence to some extent, and some that are entirely out of our control. The last group includes other people's opinions and judgments, which are uncontrollable. What counts is how you respond to what occurs to you, not what happens to you. This concept is really appropriate in this instance. You have no influence over what people say or believe about you. Your reaction to their viewpoints is something you can influence. You will never succeed in your attempt to control what other people think if you devote all of your time and effort to it. Attempting to control the uncontrollable can only lead to disappointment and frustration. Concentrate on your ideas, deeds, and attitude, the things you can control. What counts are your actions, values, and self-perception. Stoicism emphasizes that your inner serenity and genuine self are unaffected by what other people think of you. Acknowledging this is the first step to releasing yourself from the weight of other people's opinions. Empowerment comes from concentrating on your controllable aspects. Regaining inner serenity and strength means resisting the need to be influenced by opinions over which you have no control. Living your life according to your values instead of caving into the whims of others is what true freedom is all about. Lesson 2. Consider your prioritizations. We frequently lose sight of our own beliefs and priorities when we are preoccupied with other people's opinions. We might begin to spend our lives in accordance with other people's expectations rather than what is actually important to us. This is a risky trap because it takes us away from who we really are. Regular reflection on our beliefs, aspirations, and the things that really matter in life is encouraged by Stoicism. Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius often wrote in his journal about the value of concentrating on one's own virtue and character rather than letting little things divert one's attention. Setting your own principles above other people's opinions lays the groundwork for a happy and meaningful existence. Your self-worth will originate internally, not from the ebbing and flowing of public opinion. Stoicism encourages us to be fully accountable for our own morals and deeds, independent of other people's opinions. Spend some time thinking about what is most important to you, then live your life accordingly. This will provide you a strong feeling of direction and purpose in addition to relieving you of the burden of pleasing other people. Lesson 3. Strive to minimize your concerns. Considering the opinions of others is normal. Since we are social beings, it is in our nature to want approval and a connection from other people. On the other hand, worrying excessively about what other people think can cause tension and anxiety, particularly if it causes us to compromise our morals or diminish our own value. The practice of Stoicism instills in us the value of moderation in all areas, including our regard for the opinions of others. You should be concerned with other people's opinions, but only to an extent. Excessive caring relinquishes control and allows other forces to control our feelings. We grow susceptible to uneasiness, self-doubt, and disillusionment. The concept of apatheia, which is about reaching a condition of emotional equilibrium rather than being apathetic or frigid, was one that the Stoics frequently highlighted. This entails preventing outside factors, such as other people's viewpoints, from upsetting your inner tranquility. The opinions of others are nothing more than judgments, as Epictetus taught. They are arbitrary, transient, and frequently dependent on circumstances outside of our control. They don't accurately represent your character or genuine worth. Develop detachment to cease being overly concerned with what other people think. Recognize that every individual possesses unique viewpoints, prejudices, and assessments, frequently stemming from their individual encounters and vulnerabilities. Their beliefs are not indisputable facts. You don't have to absorb them or allow them to lower your self-worth. Focus on living honorably and in accordance with your own values rather than trying to win people over. People's views cease to matter as long as your actions are consistent with your values. You'll discover that you experience a great sense of freedom and confidence when you let go of the need for approval. Lesson 4. Recognize that views are temporary. Like the wind, opinions come and go, frequently with little consideration or constancy. What society values at one point may not matter at another, and what someone thinks of you today might not matter tomorrow. Because of this, it's foolish to give other people's opinions too much weight, because they are prone to change and are not always trustworthy. Marcus Aurelius always reminded himself that everything is transient, even opinions held by people. Think about how swiftly everything dissolves and is resolved. The bodies and substances turn into the elements, and the memory of them turn into time and fate. This verse serves as a helpful reminder that nothing lasts forever, even our opinions. You are constructing your identity on something shaky and transient if you base your feeling of value on the views of other people. You might receive praise from someone now and criticism from them tomorrow. You'll live on an emotional roller coaster your entire life and never find serenity or peace if you let these criticisms from outside the world determine who you are. Stoicism encourages us to base our sense of value on our own virtue and character, which are far more stable. Who you are is defined by your actions, how you treat people, and how you live a life that is consistent with your principles, rather than by what other people think of you. This is an intangible asset that you cannot lose, regardless of how opinions change. Recognize that opinions are not as important as we may believe because they are transient. Instead, concentrate on developing your virtue and inner power, which are significantly more durable. Lesson 5. Consider feedback as valuable counsel. Although criticism is frequently perceived negatively, in the Stoic tradition, it can be seen as a chance for development. It's simple to take criticism personally and get defensive when it comes from someone. However, if we change our viewpoint, we might perceive criticism as a type of constructive criticism that makes us better. The impoverished person is not the one with too little. Rather, it is the one who yearns for more. We may apply this to the way we respond to criticism. Individuals who are insatiably seeking validation and admiration have a diminished sense of self, whereas those who are receptive to education and development possess an abundance of wisdom. Consider whether there is any truth to criticism rather than taking it personally and using it as an assault on your persona. If the critique is sound, make use of it to improve. Just let it go if it is invalid, understanding that it does not define you. This strategy enables you to remain calm and composed even when you receive unfavorable comments. You'll notice that you are less impacted by other people's opinions when you learn to accept criticism as constructive guidance rather than as a threat. When you're not paralyzed by the fear of being judged, you'll be more receptive to learning and development. Lesson 6. Take pride in your true self. To embrace who you are, warts and all, is one of the most important teachings to be learned from Stoicism. The significance of self-awareness and self-acceptance was held by the Stoics. You have to be honest with yourself about your ideals, shortcomings, and strengths if you want to lead a life of integrity and inner serenity. Don't waste any more time debating what makes a good man. Become one. This serves as a helpful reminder to put your best self forward and stop worrying about what other people think of you. When you are confident in your identity, the opinions of others become insignificant. It's critical to keep in mind that you don't have to be flawless and that nobody is. It matters that you are accepting of who you are, working toward improvement, and living a life consistent with your ideals. When you possess this level of confidence in yourself, you will discover that you no longer want outside approval to feel deserving. The principles of Stoicism offer a potent framework for overcoming the anxiety that arises from caring what other people think. You can live a life of inner peace and purpose by accepting criticism as constructive guidance, practicing detachment, realizing the transience of opinions, focusing on what you can control, defining your values, and accepting who you really are. The Stoics serve as a reminder that genuine contentment and satisfaction originate internally rather than from validation or acceptance from beyond. You can discover independence in your own self-assurance and transcend the opinions of others by leading an honest life and upholding your moral principles. Keep in mind that other people's opinions are just that, opinions, as you proceed on this adventure. You and your value are not defined by them. The way you live, handle people, and develop your own inner strength and insight are what really count. Live a life that is genuine to yourself and put an end to caring about what other people think. You will experience a deep sense of fulfillment, serenity, and liberation from this, which cannot be taken away by criticism from others.